Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues, excellencies, distinguished participants, colleagues. I know that we have in the office also one account with quite a number of colleagues joining. So as participants are joining us gradually, I would like to start today's conversation. Excellencies and colleagues, as our world is facing multiple crises, so is our ocean, the largest biosphere of our planet that supports over 80% of life and provided food, jobs, livelihood, energy, and connections to our people. The 2022 UN Ocean Conference, co-hosted by the governments of Kenya and the government of Portugal, comes at a critical time to mobilize action and to propel science-based innovation solutions. We are here today to join those efforts by sharing and mobilizing partnerships through South-South and triangular cooperation, aimed at starting a new chapter of global ocean action for sustainable development. United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation is very pleased to co-sponsor this side event on leveraging South-South and triangular cooperation to advance the blue economy agenda in small island development states with the government of Portugal. And we welcome all distinguished speakers and participants. Two of our distinguished speakers are sending their video messages from Lisbon, right at the Ocean Conference. And we have a distinguished panel and discussion from the UN agencies as well to join the dialogue today. We only have 1 hour today, and this is a precious 1 hour taken from everybody's busy schedule. So we may not be able to take live questions, but the event is recorded and will be shared wider for follow-up dialogues. And also at the same time, we welcome comments, questions through chat and Q&A. We will feed back to you after this discussion. If time still allows, we will also open the floor. As I said, two of our distinguished speakers are sending their video messages. I have the honor now to introduce the first video statement by His Excellency, Mr. Abdullah Shahid, President of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He's sending his statement from Lisbon.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, the health of our ocean is in serious jeopardy. It is getting warmer and becoming more acidic. Sea levels continue to rise, and pollution, especially plastic pollution, continues to proliferate with its ecosystems. Cumulatively, these changes are drastically limiting the planet's ability to sustain life, not only underwater, but also on land. These facts should rightly alarm us, and we cannot shirk our responsibility to do much more to preserve the health of our ocean. At the same time, we do have cause to celebrate. This year we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. In doing so, we reaffirm our global commitment to international norms and values that bind us together with the ocean. As part of this, we have agreed to start working on an agreement to tackle plastic pollution. And here we are, all gathered in Lisbon, celebrating our progress and evaluating our future actions on SDG 14, on conserving and sustainably using the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. Excellencies, together, oceans, seas, and coastal areas form an essential component of the Earth's ecosystem. Oceans cover 70% of the Earth's surface. It is the planet's largest biosphere and home to up to 80% of all life in the world. Its sheer scale and the innumerable resources contained within it also means that the ocean has a profound influence on our economies and livelihoods. The annual contribution of ocean-based economic activities numbers in the trillions in terms of US dollars. This in turn provides millions of people with direct or indirect employment. The ocean is especially vital to the economies and sustenance of small island developing states and to the advancement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This is evident when we consider that small island developing states are perhaps more accurately described as large ocean states in light of the fact that they are custodians of immense ocean areas, which are cumulatively up to 20.7 times larger than their land mass. Excellencies, today's event on leveraging South-South and triangular cooperation to advance the blue economy agenda in SIDS is both timely and relevant as we reflect on how small island developing states can be utilized and best utilized their resources for ocean-related opportunities, and on how SIDS can leverage partnerships, whether they are through South-South cooperation or triangular cooperation, to reverse the decline in ocean health. The event will define key areas of science-led ocean action, driving governments and other key decision makers to do more and deliver on their commitments. And we will also discuss how these actions can be better facilitated to deliver practical, realistic, cost-effective, and scalable solutions. Dear friends, in light of the special relationship between SIDS and the ocean, and especially concerning the special case of SIDS for sustainable development, they need genuine and durable partnerships. And these partnerships must be smart. That is, they must SIDS specific, measurable and monitorable, achievable and accountable, resource-based and results-focused, and time-bound in terms of implementation. In short, SMART. Partnerships must be developed together with and in consultation with SIDS governments and communities, taking full use of local knowledge while also enhancing capacities at the local level. These are the values on which partnerships must be built and enhanced. My dear friends, the best solution at our disposal is to build strategic partnerships that harness the expertise and energy of all stakeholders, that leverages our collective knowledge and capacity, that strengthens and builds on existing cooperation. Through such partnerships and through mobilizing the required political will, we can protect and preserve our oceans. We can build blue economies, and we can build more resilient and prosperous communities. I commend the UN Office for South-South Cooperation for their continued assistance and partnership with SIDS. I'm certain that it will add value to future cooperation on providing support for SIDS, especially in their efforts to advance work related to Sustainable Development Goal 14. I thank you.
With these very important words from the President of PGA, we would also like to thank the government of Portugal to co-host today's event with us. And the next, we would like to have Her Excellency, Ms. Zacarias, Permanent Representative of Portugal to the United Nations, and also the co-host country of the 2022 UN Ocean Conference, the co-sponsor of today's event, to send her video remarks also from Lisbon.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Lisbon. It is a pleasure to participate in this Oceans Conference side event on leveraging South-South and triangular cooperation to advance the blue economy agenda in SIDS. As you know, Portugal is the co-host of the UN Oceans Conference, but also one of the vice presidents of the high-level committee on South-South cooperation. Allow me in these capacities to highlight a few points. We are at a defining moment for ocean action if we want to address the crisis that is impacting the ocean and marine biodiversity. By co-hosting the UN Oceans Conference, Portugal hopes to help identify innovative solutions and mobilize support to address existing challenges, reversing current trends and fully implementing SDG 14. The conference is all about highlighting science and innovation as key enablers of transformative ocean action. It is also about community building and promoting wide-ranging partnerships towards this goal. We need to enhance cooperation at all levels to strengthen mechanisms for knowledge sharing and exchange of best practices. We need all hands on deck to achieve SDG 14. We need actions at the national level, at the regional level, at the local level, and we need international cooperation, North-South cooperation, but also South-South and triangular cooperation, as well as an innovative source of financing. All these modalities are complementary and necessary if we really want to achieve the goals of the 2030 Agenda. Distinguished delegates, Portugal, in addition to cooperating with partners, countries from the Global South, has placed a particular emphasis on triangular cooperation. This can add value by bringing together countries with different capabilities and areas of expertise. Together with the OECD, Portugal has hosted over the last few years a series of 5 international conferences on triangular cooperation. We have also signed 10 memoranda of understanding on triangular cooperation with various countries from Latin America, from Middle East, from Northern Africa. Based on these MOUs, including with 4 SIDS, triangular cooperation projects are already being implemented, contributing to poverty eradication and sustainable development. Dear colleagues, one area where we could really improve our cooperation is by fostering blue economy. This means protecting ocean resources by linking their sustainable use with economic growth. The sustainable blue economy depends on a shift from the model of simple resources extraction and depletion that has defined the last century to a circular and inclusive economic model. We need to consider how the concept of blue economy can be operationalized nationally and regionally in SIDS, and how do the leverage South-South and triangular cooperation what can we achieve in this regard. As recognized in the Samoa pathway, sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, coastal tourism, the possible use of seabed resources, potential sources of renewable energies are among the main building blocks of a sustainable ocean-based economy in small island developing states. This gives us a good indication of where can we leverage South-South and triangular cooperation. Yesterday, we hosted, in parallel to the conference, the Sustainable Blue Economy and Investment Forum, with more than 1,000 participants. This event highlighted the contribution of the business sector to implementing Goal 14, as well as the importance of promoting investment solutions that accelerate the development of a sustainable blue economy. The role of the private sector is instrumental in achieving this shift towards a more sustainable model that is an area in which increasingly attractive for companies as each dollar invested in the sustainable oceans economy is estimated to yield on average $5 in return. Dear colleagues, as the Ocean Conference is demonstrating here in Lisbon, there are many challenges ahead, but we still have a window of opportunity for action. The intrinsic links between the ocean and the global economy must be tackled in a different way, in a more sustainable way. We need all hands on deck to achieve SDG 14, including North-South, South-South, and triangular cooperation. We need all stakeholders to be involved, including the business sector. I hope that today, SIDS event can contribute to realizing this vision, including for small island developing states, who are, in fact, big ocean states. Thank you very much.
With many thanks to these inspiring words from Lisbon. Now, from all the way Lisbon to New York, at the headquarters of the United Nations, we really have the great honor to have Her Excellency, Ambassador Maria de Carmen Squel, Permanent Representative of Argentina to the United Nations, and the President of High-Level Committee on South-South Cooperation to open the event for us. And the High-Level Committee is the body that gave guidance to South-South cooperation. Thank you very much, Ambassador. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, dear friends, first of all, I would like to thank you, the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, for organizing this side event in the margins of the United Nations Oceans Conference. I address you today in my capacity as President of the High-Level Committee on South-South Cooperation. This committee constitutes the main UN policy-making body on South-South cooperation and is responsible for ensuring the effort to strengthen technical cooperation between developing countries are sustained within the United Nations development system. South-South cooperation has proven effective in creating jobs, building infrastructure, and promoting trade in countries of the Global South. Its objective is to promote a broad framework of collaboration between developing countries and offer a complementarity model to the traditional relationship between donors and beneficiaries. In the 4 decades since the adoption of the Buenos Aires Action Plan, also known as BAPA, South-South cooperation has established itself as a distinct and innovative paradigm and has proved to be a value tool for building capacity and promoting development. It has also promoted the articulation of triangular schemes that increase the impact of action and synergy with traditional cooperation actors. Innovative partnership, investment, and technical exchange through South-South cooperation are essential for countries, especially in the Global South, to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal. The deteriorating state of the oceans led the General Assembly to adopt the standalone goal to protect the life below water, to so-called SDG 14. Given the importance of the sustainable use of coastal and marine resources for developing countries and a small island development state is particular, the challenge of achieving SDG 14 require us to act both national as well as international through a concerted global response. The ocean's economy is valued at $1.3 trillion. And for many countries, oceans are a matter of survival. It provides employment, food, and opportunities to engage in trade. Many coastal communities depend entirely on the ocean. In this context, it is imperative to converse and sustainable use the oceans and their resources, and building a sustainable oceans economy is the answer. Active cooperation and partnership are needed to help build a sustainable oceans economy with a special recognition of these needs of developing nations, in particular SIDS. South-South cooperation can play a key role in this endeavor. The potential areas of cooperation are vast and may include technical assistance to enhance knowledge and informed policymaking processes, training, initiative, and transfer of marine technology. Countries of the Global South exchanging development solutions will strongly contribute to advance a sustainable oceans economy. South-South cooperation is helping developing countries to benefit from innovation, lessons learned, and good practices tried and tested elsewhere in the South, increasing and improving communications among developing countries, leading to a greater awareness of common problems and wider access to available knowledge and experience, as well as the creation of new knowledge in tackling development problems are some of the advantages of South-South cooperation. This type of cooperation fosters the self-reliance of developing countries by enhancing their creative capacity to find solutions to their development problems in keeping with their aspiration, values, and special needs. To conclude, I would like to emphasize that the world we are living today demands more and better cooperation. Working together and under a spirit of solidarity will be the only way to advance a sustainable recovery and to achieve the 2030 agenda, leaving no one behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. As you know that our office, together with the UN system, is supporting South-South cooperation, and in our strategic framework in the coming 4 years, we do have supporting SIDS through South-South and triangular cooperation as a strategic priority. And your words will encourage us to do more and with the priority areas to focus on. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Now, after this opening session, we have a distinguished panel to discuss how to leverage South-South and triangular cooperation to advance blue economy, especially for the SIDS. Again, from Lisbon, we have His Excellency Ambassador Walton Webson, Permanent Representative of Antigua and Barbuda, Chair of the Alliance of Small Island States, who was not able to connect from Lisbon now, but he sent us a few words, and I will take the floor to just quickly share his points with us. Following that, we have 3 distinguished panelists, ambassadors, excellencies, and we will open the panel discussion here. So from Ambassador Webson, saying that despite our vulnerabilities, SIDS are the leading pioneers of innovative solutions to protect and sustainably manage our oceans. All these experiences are shared at the 2022 UN Ocean Conference, together with our challenges. By 2050, there may be more plastics than fish in the sea. Policies to protect and manage our ocean are the only way to ensure a healthy and resourceful marine environment for the next generation. This gives us a good indication of where we need to strengthen South-South and triangular cooperation. Partnerships need to develop, enhance, and retain capacity in SIDS, which means targeted technology transfer, accelerated capacity building, future-proofed long-term outcomes, modernized approaches, and interventions that meet local needs. Extraordinary levels of international cooperation on research, on infrastructure access and capacity are needed in order to overcome the technology gaps within and between countries and the social groups to avoid long-run low technology traps. Governments can promote much needed technology transfer by collaborating across borders, including through South-South and triangular cooperation. A few words, but words of wisdom. With that, we start this panel discussion, and we have the honor to have the first panelist with us, Her Excellency Ms. Matthew Joyny, Permanent Representative of South Africa to the United Nations. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I am grateful for the invitation to take part in this important event. And let me acknowledge all the excellencies and dear colleagues, distinguished guests in the room. This particular issue is of importance to South Africa. It addresses three of our priority areas: South-South cooperation itself, promoting development in fellow developing countries, and the blue economy as a catalyst for development. So leveraging of the blue economy for development is a core pillar of our development in South Africa. Three of the oceans, world's oceans converge in South Africa: the South Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Southern Ocean. And we are endowed with a magnificent, world-famous coastline. But besides harboring unique and diverse marine species, our oceans also support many millions of livelihoods, as well as important industries, including tourism. Yet the economic potential of our oceans is far from realized. So South Africa right now is in the final phases of developing our Oceans Economy Master Plan, which focuses on a number of sectors, but because of time, I will not go into those sectors, but I'm available to share those with you. And that sector currently supports over 400 jobs with potential for more. It has to be said that while we are exploring the ocean economy, we also have concurrently enacted strong measures to conserve our ocean and coastal biodiversity, taking measures to address SDG 14 in totality. Now, colleagues, coming to the issue of South-South cooperation. South Africa is deeply committed to South-South cooperation, which is again a pillar of our foreign policy. SADC, the African continent, and the Global South are core priorities, and it is stated in our foreign policy. And it is for these reasons that we've taken proactive role in various blue economy related South-South partnerships, including with the SIDS. We have seen the numbers on annual contribution of oceans economy to global GDP, and my colleague Ambassador Marleta has also mentioned those numbers, so has the PGA. It is clear that the SIDS, by virtue of being islands surrounded by oceans, must effectively leverage the immense blue economy potential to achieve the SDGs. The devastating implications of COVID-19, coupled with impacts of climate change for SIDS economies, make this imperative even more urgent. And in our view, and based on our experience, South-South and triangular cooperation partnerships hold tremendous potential for win-win outcomes, which offer all parties and the relevant regions a whole host of potential benefits, including an important alternative to traditional North-South partnerships. And let me share with you some of our initiatives. South Africa established the Indian Ocean Rim Association, IORA, through the vision of former President Nelson Mandela in 1997. Today, IORA has grown into a dynamic intergovernmental organization aimed at strengthening regional cooperation and sustainable development within the Indian Ocean region, with its 23 member states and 10 dialogue partners. And one of its core priorities is the blue economy, including addressing the particular priorities and needs of the SIDS. Coming to a specific region, South Africa is involved in a triangular South-South partnership focused around oceans with Namibia and Angola through the Benguela Current Commission. And this transboundary commission aims to improve management of the Benguela Current large marine ecosystem, which stretches northwards in the Atlantic Ocean from South Africa along the entire coastline of Namibia into Angola. It is one of the richest ecosystems on Earth, with fish stocks and goods and services worth an estimated 54.3 billion annually. Another important triangular South-South partnership for South Africa is with India, Brazil, and ourselves, of course, and the dialogue, the IPSA Dialogue Forum, which brings together these three large democracies. Amongst its priorities, the Dialogue Forum, through the IPSA Fund, seeks to support development projects in other developing countries. To date, these have included, amongst many, support for development projects in certain SIDS, including the Comoros, Fiji, and Kiribati. And I will not go into the details of those projects specifically, except to say that in the Comoros, the UNDP has been also our partner, together with South Africa's Agriculture Research Council. Elsewhere in our region, the South African-based Southern African Development Bank is playing an important role in assisting Mauritius to transition towards renewable energy. It is therefore crucial that these partnerships are extended in the area of the blue economy. And for that, I would like to suggest the following areas. Firstly, it is imperative that we explore the area of marine scientific research and innovation. South Africa has a number of science and research institutions that are focusing on marine and biodiversity research and conservation. We recognize the need to observe and understand the oceans so as to enhance potential benefit in a manner that is not harmful. The South African National Research Foundation, through the number of ocean-based institutions it supports, is involved in data collection to show a range of possible industries where the revenue could be generated using existing marine data technologies. And we have a good example of that. It's called SAPRI, which is a South African Polar Research Infrastructure. It is available and it is pushing the Pan-African science, technology, and innovation agenda, and it allows for collaboration again with countries of the South. Secondly, we need to focus on South-South and triangular capacity building programs. The importance of allowing partners to define their capacity needs and sharing perspectives from the global South with each other cannot be overemphasized. There is tremendous power in acknowledging traditional knowledge systems, which in some instances have been ancient wisdom, and powering those with modern technology. Lastly, South-South cooperation in the blue economy for the SIDS must entail implementation of projects and solutions. These must be based on the needs as defined by the beneficiaries, and to a large extent, co-designed with the beneficiaries to ensure applicability. The IPSA Fund has done this in areas that it gets involved in. This principle of involving the beneficiaries, of engaging and co-designing with the beneficiaries, should be core in South-South cooperation projects for the blue economy. In conclusion, South Africa welcomes today's important discussion and reaffirms our strong solidarity with and support for SIDS, as well as all other developing countries and the global South in working to achieve the SDGs. We believe that there is more scope for South-South and trilateral cooperation in the blue oceans economy. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for sharing the important experiences and strong support of South Africa to this agenda through South-South and triangular cooperation. Thank you for your important recommendations on more science and innovation, marine science and innovation collaboration, capacity development for South-South cooperation, and engaging stakeholders. You have listed great examples of working with UN agencies and also IFIs. And from your experiences, we do see one clear trend of South-South and triangular cooperation with renewed level of commitment for multilateralism and multilateral approach. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for your remarks. Now we have our second distinguished panelist, His Excellency, Mr. Ian Madeleine, Permanent Representative of Seychelles to the UN. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Allow me to greet colleagues and excellencies and participants. My intervention will basically concentrate on one particular case study of South-South cooperation. In this case, it's the SIDS to SIDS cooperation which is the joint management area that we have with Mauritius. Just to give an example. Excellencies, distinguished participants, the interconnectedness of our ocean is such that leveraging its full potential sustainably can only be done through collaborative action. South-South and triangular cooperation are especially effective in the case of ocean governance, since developing states share unique situations and specific needs. Therefore, consolidating our efforts effectively facilitates resource mobilization as donors, impact investors, and development-oriented agencies interested in the blue economy and ocean governance are more reactive to transformative joint projects and initiatives. SIDS are particularly reliant on the sustainability of the ocean, and therefore have increasingly turned towards innovative partnerships in order to surmount their limited capacities and resources to pursue social economic development. A prime example of SIDS partnership is the groundbreaking joint management area in the Mascarin Plateau region, which is an extended continental shelf covering an area of 396,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of Germany, over which both Seychelles and Mauritius exercise joint jurisdiction over the seabed and subsoil. The two countries officially lodged a joint submission to the UNCLCS in March 2009. Upon receiving the recommendations of the CLCS, Seychelles and Mauritius subsequently signed two historic treaties on 30th of March 2012. Under the first treaty, the two states established the outer limits of the continental shelf in order to provide for its recognition under respective national and international laws. We also agreed to exercise sovereign rights jointly for the purpose of exploring the continental shelf and harnessing the natural resources. The second treaty established the joint management area and provided an institutional and regulatory framework for its management, including the conservation, development, and use of its natural resources. The treaty is unique in itself as it establishes the largest area of maritime space in the world that is subject to a joint management setup. Evidently, the project presents an array of socioeconomic opportunities for both countries, especially in the blue economy sector. Because of its potential, the project is receiving support through two main avenues. The first being the demonstration project, which is funded by the GEF through a $2.2 million grant and implemented by the UNDP. Its aim is to assist the two states to develop new management approaches for jointly managed extended continental shelf, which can serve as a model for the region and the world. And prospectively, hopefully it can be replicated as well. The project has so far resulted in the completion of the first phase of a marine spatial plan for the GMA, which will facilitate governance of the continental shelf and reinforce the management capacities and resources in the two countries. The project is also being supported again by the UNDP's joint SDG fund to establish an enabling environment which promotes sustainable green and blue economy in Mauritius and Seychelles. In the case of Seychelles, the project is supporting the government in developing a circular economy roadmap and action plan, as well as financing strategies, which includes partnerships with the public and private sector. Moreover, it will support private sector innovation in the circular economy through seed funding mechanisms. This will help to scale up the necessary investments in the sector and help communities diversify livelihoods, reinforce local resilience, and contribute to poverty reduction, thereby also reducing the amount of solid waste and negative impact of human activities on the natural ecosystem. In conclusion, the GMA is a success story for South-South cooperation, which can be emulated in other parts of the world. The project showcases the positive implications of cooperation, ocean governance, and the development of the blue economy. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador, for sharing great examples and highlighting the importance of collaboration to enhance ocean governance. And your example of neighboring countries working together, not only sharing experiences, but also collectively define policy and regulatory agenda and scale up the impact regionally and globally. It does give us great promise of how to leverage broader partnership, including South-South and triangular cooperation, to advance this agenda. We thank you very much, Ambassador, for your remarks. And now we move on to our third distinguished panelist, His Excellency Ambassador Raveja Raghutalkari, the Deputy Permanent Representative of India to the United Nations. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Excellencies, colleagues, and participants. I thank the UN Office for South-South Cooperation for organizing this important side event on the margins of the UN Ocean Conference. We attach great importance to the topic, and India, as you may be aware, has a unique maritime position comprising of over 7,500 kilometers of coastline and encompassing 9 coastal states and about 1,400 islands. In my remarks, I'll try to explain why blue economy is a priority for us and how India is assisting in a modest way SID countries in advancing blue economy agenda. India's exclusive economic zone of over 2 million square kilometers is rich in living and non-living resources. The coastal economy also sustains over 4 million fishermen and other coastal communities. Our 12 major ports and 187 non-major ports handle about 1,400 million tons of cargo every year. 95% of India's trade by volume transits by sea. With these vast maritime interests, the blue economy in India has a vital relationship with the nation's economic growth, and we have our experiences to share. In recent years, India has launched a series of initiatives for sustainable development in the maritime domain. These initiatives include programs such as Deep Ocean Mission, Oceanography from Space, and launching of the Data Buoys along the Indian coastline. We have also joined United Nations on the Clean Seas program to develop strategies for estimating and reducing maritime litter, plastic in the oceans, which is a part of SDG 14. We have also been implementing projects concerning ocean and coastal management. These are called as Sagar Mala, Sagar, and Mausam, which basically focuses on port development, maritime security and development, and cultural connectivity, respectively. Working groups have been formed to identify key issues and challenges related to each sector underpinning the blue economy. India has hosted 3 editions of the Indian Ocean Dialogue, a Track 1.5 forum promoting conversations among all stakeholders. Excellencies, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a disproportionate impact on the countries and regions, particularly the small island developing states. SIDS are also on the front lines of climate change. SIDS have also been among the worst hit developing economies in economic and fiscal terms, largely due to global contraction in 2 ocean economy sectors, that is coastal tourism and fisheries. Effective support, therefore, from the international community is vital to SIDS countries. The potential stress on available international development resources makes it important to have tailored and smart deployment of these resources. This means that support must focus on fostering a recovery that addresses SIDS' most critical structural challenges, enhancing resilience and the sustainability of existing key economic sectors, building capacity and skill, and fostering economic diversification by unlocking new development opportunities such as in the digital space and in the blue economy that are aligned with their national priorities. India's broad-based development cooperation with SIDS has followed this approach. Apart from 2 summits earlier held under the Forum for India-Pacific Island Cooperation, India organized in 2019 the first India PSIDS and India CARICOM leaders meeting in New York. At this meeting, India announced a US $26 million grant to CARICOM and SIDS, PSIDS, for high-impact developmental projects in the areas of their choice. In addition, concessional lines of credit of US $300 million was announced, which can be availed for undertaking inter alia solar, renewable energy, and climate-related projects. During Glasgow COP26, India launched the Infrastructure for Resilient Island States initiative, which aims to provide technical support on the issues posed by infrastructure systems and promote disaster and climate resilient infrastructure assets in small island developing states. India has also announced a special data window to be set up by Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, for small island developing states to get timely information about cyclones, coral reef monitoring, coastline monitoring through satellites. An effort worth highlighting has been US $150 million India UN Development Partnership Fund managed by UN Office for South-South Cooperation that continues to support South-owned, South-led sustainable development projects with focus on LDCs, LLDCs, and SIDS. The fund has a portfolio of 66 projects in 52 countries. As part of COVID response, the India UNDP Fund has commissioned projects in 15 countries ranging from Antigua, Barbuda in the Caribbean to Palau in the South Pacific. Another unique mechanism demonstrating the relevance and vitality of South-South cooperation is India-Brazil-South Africa Fund, which permanent representative of South Africa has already elaborated. I will not go into details. Our ongoing capacity building and economic assistance under flagship Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program has provided also many SIDS countries access to satellite-based information on potential fishing zones for promoting efficient fishing. As part of UNESCO initiative to promote ocean biodiversity, access to ocean biogeographic information system has also been provided, generating more than 120,000 records of species from the Indian Ocean region. For the benefit of SIDS, we have also organized regional and global workshops on assessment of the coastal marine environment in the Indian Ocean region. Let me conclude by stating that we are conscious of SIDS priorities and requirements, and we'll do our best to see how we can partner with them in the quest of advancing blue economy through South-South cooperation. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you for sharing with us the extensive and skillful South-South cooperation support to SIDS and blue economy by India. And when you highlight the COVID impact on SIDS, I immediately recall how rapid the support was mobilized and provided by the India UN Fund. I remember over 11 million was immediately fast-tracked to support SIDS countries within months of the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic. So thank you so much for being a strong support to this agenda. With all this panel from member states, we have heard, of course, important experiences, strong commitment and support to this agenda. We have also heard from member states the expectations, the recommendations of how to best leverage South-South and triangular cooperation to advance blue economy for SIDS. And many of the examples shared by our panelists highlight collaboration with UN agencies. The next session of the panel discussion, we have distinguished speakers from our UN agencies, our colleagues, and we start with Mr. Didier Chabot, UN Resident Coordinator for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. We planned to start this way because we would like to hear from the field, from SIDS, from the RC representing the UN system on the ground. However, I have to say that we were just notified that Barbados yesterday was under a tropical storm watch and the island has gone into shutdown mode since yesterday. So it is very unfortunate that we will not be able to listen to Mr. Didier, but this is yet again a clear reminder and a clear alarm to us about the realities in SIDS and urgent needs for continued cooperation and support. That we cannot dialogue with Mr. Didi right now, we have 3 panelists from different agencies that joined us today to share their experiences in supporting and to share their reflections. So the first one, we have the honor to invite Mr. Riyad Madab, Director AI of UNDP Global Center on Technology, Innovation and Sustainable Development, and Senior Principal Advisor for SIDS. So Riyad, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Grace, and it's a real honor to be able to join our colleagues. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be with you and to talk about the main priorities of the SIDS in terms of blue economy and in terms of results in South-South cooperation and triangular cooperation. As you may know, the SIDS are a special case in terms of development, high debt burden and lack of financial resources during this pandemic. Extremely vulnerable to climate change due to their latitude and low-lying topographies. On average, SIDS have 26.2% of their land area 5 meters or less above sea level. In the Maldives, Kiribati, or Tuvalu, 99% of the land lies below 5 meters above sea level. On average, about 30% of the SIDS population live in zones that are 5 meters above sea level. Over-reliance on few ocean economic sector, as discussed previously by some colleagues, remoteness of small population, difficulty to access to international market, small local market, at least 35% more vulnerable to external economic and financial shock than other developing countries, as you have seen it in a multidimensional vulnerability index that UNDP has developed. The blue economy can support SIDS address their challenges. And this is what we have done through our UNDP SIDS offer Rising Up for SIDS with 3 main pillars, one on the blue economy, one on the climate action, and one on digital transformation. SIDS are custodian of 19.1% of the world exclusive economic zones. They have ocean territories over 20 times larger than their land area. In fact, in 10 SIDS, marine territories are thousands of times greater, which underpin their huge blue economy potential. And like one of the ambassadors just said before, especially the ambassador of Portugal, they are called large ocean states. A blue economy development pathway can help them harness their unique advantages to address their common vulnerability and recover greener, bluer, better. For example, it can play a key role in climate change mitigation and adaptation by offering sustainable renewable energy opportunities and nature-based solutions in SIDS and beyond. As SIDS face similar challenges, collaboration and SIDS and triangular collaboration can support the blue economy transformation as discussed during the UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon. First, capacity building and technology transfer. On average, SIDS spend 14.5% of total government expenditure on general education. If you compare to Europe, it's only 12%. If you compare to America, it's 13.4%. So SIDS are already higher in terms of expenditure in general education. However, there's still significant potential for increasing expenditures on research, reflecting technical and scientific barriers to transformative blue economy action. Technology transfer should be adapted locally by integrating the rich local ecological knowledge of SIDS as to promote inclusivity and sustainability. Collaboration and partnership should play a key role in bridging this gap, mainly through the SDG 14.A that specifically encourage the development of research capacity and transfer marine technology, in particular to SIDS between SIDS. Second, innovation. Digital is a key tool that can shape new industries and opportunities in SIDS to mitigate climate disaster. It can catalyze the blue economy, public services and digital product and service which continue to improve financial inclusion across SIDS. In Tuvalu, LIDAR technology is helping to monitor changes in sea level and to better plan to climate adaptation. In Barbados, unfortunately, Didier is not here, the Blue Bot initiative has taken a novel approach to use semi-autonomous underwater robotics to map Caribbean coral reef using computer vision and artificial intelligence. In the Pacific, the use of blockchain is being used to trace seafood. Sharing locally developed and tested innovation among SIDS will accelerate progress toward a bluer recovery in large ocean states. In the Caribbean, a New Zealand solution is being tested to turn sargassum into green power and fertilizer. UNDP, through a network of 10 accelerator labs covering 35 SIDS, strive to close the gap between the current practice of international development and accelerated pace change by supporting local innovation and fostering SIDS exchanges. Number 3, ocean management, and this is a key. SIDS and triangular cooperation could also aim at mitigating climate change impact and promoting transboundary ocean health protection and restoration initiative of the management of shared resources. In the Pacific, 14 island nations, in partnership with a number of regional and global partnerships, work together to make the Western and Central Pacific Ocean the only major ocean area where all the tuna stocks are harvested at sustainable levels. In Seychelles and Mauritius share jurisdiction with the Mascarene Plateau region of the Joint Management Area of the extended continental shelves, an area of over 396,000 square kilometers of seabed and subsoil of the extended continental shelf beyond their respective EEZ. Fourth, and finally, financing the blue economy. The blue economy transformation will not happen without financing. Partnership could facilitate bringing the funding gap of the SDG 14 through initiatives like the Global Fund for Coral Reef. The Global Fund for Coral Reef is a 10 years, $500 million blended finance vehicle that leverages grants to unlock private sector in investment in blue economy, incubate investment projects, and scale up coral reef conservation. In the newly endorsed 10 years investment plan for the Global Fund for Coral Reef, 9 SIDS are considered as priority ecosystem. Cabo Verde Stock Exchange and UNDP are working on establishing the world's first sustainable financing platform dedicated to the blue economy that will serve small island developing states. And after that, I invite my colleague Grace if she can share a short video summarizing the approach of UNDP in SIDS offer, Rising Up for SIDS, on supporting the SIDS and their blue economy. Thank you very much.
Around the world, small island developing states are driving positive change through their blue economy. With vast seascapes that represent almost 20% of all the world's exclusive economic zones, SIDS are perfectly positioned to bolster their sustainable ocean use. But the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing threats posed by climate change puts lives and livelihoods at risk. The investment opportunity and pledge to go blue means nations commit to adopting a sustainable use of ocean resources for inclusive economic growth while protecting and restoring ecosystems. SIDS are leading their own socio-economic response by identifying their own solutions to reinventing tourism, sustainable fishing and aquaculture, ocean-based energy, and sustainable maritime transport. SIDS continue to pioneer the restoration of our relationship with the ocean, through the sustainable economic development of their natural resources, making a positive contribution to the global economy and building resilience to future shocks. Their successes provide a valuable model for the rest of the world to build forward better and bluer.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Riyadh, for not only giving us an analytical overview of the challenges and opportunities to SIDS, and also UNDP's support, not only in 50+ SIDS, but also among SIDS, between SIDS. So the experiences you have gained in this support, I hope can be featured more and more on the global knowledge sharing platform, South Galaxy, so that we can bring more partners together. And I also noticed that in the support you highlighted, actually it's already implementing the 4 important recommendations shared by the SG at the UN conference. Thank you very much. And we all know this Blue Economy and SIDS agenda address multiple SDGs. And food insecurity is also an important aspect of this. And also the marine technology, marine science, we have been highlighting those agenda. We have 2 panelists, other panelists in this panel. First, I would like to invite Mr. Young-Soo Kim, Head of Resource Mobilization and Partnerships at the International Maritime Organization, followed by our colleague from Food and Agriculture Organization. So, Mr. Kim, the floor is yours, and thank you for joining.
Thank you, Chair. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the chance to share the experience and work of IMO and how IMO can contribute towards the South-South triangular cooperation to advance the Blue Economy agenda in SIDS. As a specialized agency of United Nations, IMO is the global standard setting authority for the safety, including fishing safety, security, and environmental performance of international shipping. Its main role is to create a regulatory framework for the shipping industry that is fair and effective, universally adopted, and universally implemented. IMO measures cover all aspects of international shipping, which transport more than 80% of global trade, including ship design, construction, equipment, manning, operation, and disposal. Shipping is an essential component of any program for sustainable economic growth and blue economy. Through IMO, its member states, civil societies, and the shipping industries are already working together to ensure continued and strengthened contribution towards a blue economy and growth in sustainable manner. The promotion of sustainable shipping and maritime development is one of the IMO's priorities in coming years. IMO is actively working towards 2030 agenda for sustainable development and associated SDGs with its main goal, SDG 14, life below water. One of IMO's current focus is the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from ships. There are currently 7 global projects to support developing member states, especially SIDS and LDCs. Through these projects, IMO supports its member states to implement IMO GHG strategy, shipping transition towards a zero and low carbon future, create a network among member states, and accelerate technology transfer, finance maritime decarbonization in SIDS countries, and providing global forum to exchange best practices. There are other environment protection related projects such as GLO-LITTER, which aims to reduce sea-based marine plastic litters, GLO-fouling to prevent spread of invasive aquatic species on the surface of ships, and SENSRAC to help safe environmentally sound ship recycling. There are many other global projects on safety, security, and facilitation aspect of shipping currently carried out by IMO. On South-South triangular cooperation, I would like to draw your attention to Global Fouling project with funding from JEF and UNDP and IOC UNESCO as implementing partners. We are helping our partner countries implement IMO biofouling guidelines with global guides and training on biofouling management. On such activity is done in lead partnering countries, such activities will be duplicated to other partnering countries in the region with the assistance of leading partnering countries and share experiences with the new partnering countries. Another good example of South-South triangular cooperation is the Regional Knowledge Partnership Workshop, where the participating countries present and share their experiences with other countries. Government officials from maritime administrations and finance ministries from both developed and developing countries are invited to the workshop to make presentations and sharing the mechanism for development cooperation focusing on maritime aspect. The need of the recipient countries are identified, which is then linked to funding from donor agencies through these workshops. The Knowledge Partnership Workshop is an element of IMO's Knowledge Partnership Mechanism, which was developed 3 years ago with the principle that IMO provides expertise and experience in maritime, and our partners provide expertise and experience in development cooperation and investment. Through this knowledge partnership mechanism, IMO is providing a platform for our member state to cooperate by carrying out international development cooperation projects. Currently, we have identified 25 items for such projects in the field of maritime safety, fishing safety, security, facilitation of better trade flow, and marine environment. Project concept for each items are being developed, which will be shared with potential partners to link the needs to the possible funding. South-South cooperation is a key element in implementing such projects. We look forward to cooperating with you in our knowledge partnership mechanism, where IMO, as the international organization for maritime activities, can provide our experience in technical cooperation and share our extensive maritime network around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. King. Indeed, shipping is such an important sector that supports multiple SDGs and one of the most impactful sectors on blue economy. We are very glad to feature IMO today at this event. And the UN joint program approach that you have highlighted through your example is exactly what the UN system is aiming to do, to provide more collaborative, coordinated, and coherent support to South-South and triangular cooperation. We have recently had discussions with IMO. The UNOSSC really would like to support IMO in deeper engagement in the interagency mechanism on South-South cooperation. So thank you for your participation today. And now let's move to another sector. And we are honored to have Ms. Xiao Liang, Program Officer, PST, on behalf of Mr. An Pingye, Director, South-South Triangular Cooperation Division from Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO. So, Xiao Liang, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam Chair Grace, and Excellencies, dear colleagues. It is my great honor to participate in this side event today. For decades, FAO has been working hard to promote South-South and triangular cooperation and also triangular cooperation in recent years, especially since the BAPA plus 40. And SIDS has always been the strategic focus in FAO's South-South and Triangular Cooperation Initiative. In the beginning of this year, FAO has published a living document, FAO South-South and Triangular Cooperation Guidelines for Action 2022 to 2025, to guide the overall tasks of FAO's SSTC work. In this guideline, several thematic areas of focus have been highlighted, including small island developing states. It also emphasizes the importance of the SIDS as geographic targeting for SSTC partnerships. In order to further implement these guidelines for action, FAO has just finalized the Corporate SSTC Implementation Plan 2022 to 2025 to guide the overall tasks of FAO's SSTC work. Under this implementation plan, there are 5 thematic areas being identified, and one of them is also SIDS. FAO aims to provide support in the following 4 areas for the SIDS. First, attracting new funding and investment for SSTC field projects in SIDS. Second, supporting the pilot SIDS countries in formulating agriculture development plans and also implement the projects. Third, leveraging on existing SSTC and SIDS platforms to establish a virtual SIDS knowledge hub to facilitate learning, collaboration, and partnerships. Lastly, supporting SIDS digital transformation of food systems. To concretize the above areas and directions, FAO is in the process to launch a global SIDS project, taken into consideration of the particular demand of the 40+1 SIDS members of FAO, covering Asia Pacific, Latin America and Caribbean, Africa and African SIDS. Now we're in the process of formulating the project supporting areas and aim to launch early next year this project I have just mentioned. The project will cover a number of thematic areas, and among which closely related to our blue economy agenda today are sustainable fishery resource conservation and also processing and value chain development related to fishery products, which will, of course, based on the particular demand from these SIDS countries. Currently, we also have a national project for Cape Verde funded by the FAO China South-South Cooperation Program, which will be implemented soon. And one of the supporting areas in this project is on the seaweed aquaculture, requested by the government of Cape Verde. Other related activities for SIDS we have are response and recovery to the impact of COVID-19 on rural livelihoods and food systems for the CELAC countries. We have 12 countries that being the recipient countries, and among which 6 are classified as the Caribbean SIDS. Although it's not fully related to the blue economy, but that's what FAO has been supporting in the SIDS as well. In the future, we really look forward to that our efforts will contribute to the blue economy agenda in SIDS. And also we would like to further collaborate with other sister agencies and also to support the particular demand of each and all the SIDS countries to catalyze more technical and resources and also funds for the sustainable development of blue economy in the SIDS. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Xia Liang. This panel features a few UN agencies, but the purpose is to show that the UN system is really ready to support the SIDS and blue economy agenda through South-South cooperation. And we see also the trend of that support is more and more UN agencies coming together, leveraging each other's comparative advantage to achieve impact at scale. So thank you all, colleagues, for sharing your experiences and your priority plans, and we hope we can work more together hand in hand. Now we come to the end of this short event today. This is a recorded event, and we actually would like to continue disseminate all the statements, the recording with your agreement. And on behalf of our director at interim of UNOSSC, I would like to give a few closing remarks. I would like first to take the opportunity to thank all distinguished speakers today who have delivered important statements highlighting the importance of leveraging South-South and triangular cooperation to advance the blue economy agenda in small island developing states. Sustainable Development Goal 14, as many of you mentioned, aims at conserving and using the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. It sets targets for reducing marine pollution, reducing ocean acidification, regulating fishing, creating marine protected areas, or increasing the economic benefits of SIDS, developing countries and least developed countries. At the opening of the 2022 UN Ocean Conference, the Secretary General outlined 4 recommendations to ensure addressing the ocean crisis. These include invest in sustainable ocean economies, replicate ocean success, protect the people, and more science and innovation. All the subjects have been highlighted and discussed by the speakers today. South-South and triangular cooperation has proven to and will continue to make important contributions to delivering all these recommendations. Your experiences shared today are very valuable to be scaled up to be able to deliver those recommendations fully. As the President of the General Assembly reminded us today, and as evidenced through all the statements delivered today, first, developing countries, including the small island developing states, can best utilize resources for ocean-related opportunities and leverage partnerships, whether they are through South-South cooperation or triangular cooperation, to reverse the decline in ocean health. And collaboration nowadays is more and more demonstrating a solidarity among various partners and various stakeholders. We heard from UN agencies who stand firm and ready to support South-South and triangular cooperation, advance knowledge sharing, technology transfer, collaboration in science, innovation, mutual support, and collective actions to address common development challenges. We also, from those examples shared today, see clear trend of South-South and triangular cooperation, very promisingly leading towards a renewed level of multilateralism, of global solidarity for advancement of the blue economy and the ocean agenda. Excellencies, the Samoa pathway that will conclude in 2024 called for enhancement of cooperation at the global, regional, sub-regional, national, and local levels. All these levels, we see active partners seeking collaboration through South-South and triangular cooperation. The final draft of the political declaration of the UN Ocean Conference also highlights the importance of this development cooperation modality, complementing North-South cooperation. With such strong ownership and engagement of all member states in this agenda of UN entities, our office, the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, will continue working with all partners and in coordination with UN system, especially UN OHR LLS and UN DESA, to support South-South and triangular cooperation for SIDS and for blue economy. We stand ready to support the upcoming discussions on the new outcome document of the 4th International Conference on SIDS, which will be held in 2024 in Antigua-Barbuda, from the South-South triangular cooperation perspective. Also, on our South-South Galaxy platform, we will continue spotlighting good practices, broker partners to scale up solutions and promote collective actions for sustainable blue economy and for the achievement of SDG 14. We have been documenting good practices of South-South cooperation for SDGs, and we would like to also focus on SDG 14 with your support and your contribution. We will continue supporting member states in managing and accessing South-South financing mechanisms to scale up sustainable investment in ocean economies. The UN Office for South-South Cooperation Strategic Framework 2022 to 2025, as I mentioned at the beginning of this event, we have made the support to SIDS as one of our priorities. And during our consultation with member states, this priority has received enthusiastic feedback from member states. All your deliberations today will guide us in this delivery. So today's discussion is really not just a one-off event on the margin of Ocean Conference. It's not on the margin. With your agreement, we plan to widely disseminate the recording, of course, through our website, through the South-South Galaxy platform, and through our social media channels. More importantly, we hope today is just the start of a journey to strengthen our collective action. And we will follow up with you, not just as speakers today, but as partners to co-design our future joint initiatives. We thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to following up with all of you. Thank you, Excellencies. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Okay, the meeting is adjourned, and thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We have already
Bye-bye.
posted on social media, tweets, your recording, your messages, and I hope that will be disseminated more and more. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.